welcome Garima to Sundays with Sandeep. This is my Facebook Live series with women achievers, entrepreneurs, thought leaders, social heroes, and people who are making a difference to other people's lives. And I'm very, very thrilled to have you on the show. A very good evening to you.
Hi, Sandeep. Good evening. Thank you. Equally thrilled to be here, if not more.
Nice. So once again, thank you to those who have tuned in. I know it's not a huge number, but yeah, this is just the very first show, and the amount of information that Garima is going to share with you about solo traveling is going to be really impressive. So today we're going to be discussing about a concept that has taken off and it's here to stay. Solo traveling of women, is it the in thing? And Garima is the founder of Wandering Jane, which aims to build an ecosystem of women solo travelers. And she's one of the first in this field to do this. And she's an expert and would be really happy to ask her a lot of questions and make the whole concept more familiar and more friendly to all of you. Very first question I would like to ask you, Garima, is why should women travel solo? Let me tell you, let me say this question properly again. I mean, let me ask this properly. It's not why should women travel solo, but why should women travel solo? Why do you think they should do that?
Okay, before we start, I'll just speak a little bit about the ecosystem that you're talking about. So I think it'll put a lot of things in perspective. Wandering Jane is an activity-based travel for women. We started off by pure play adventure with scuba diving, with surfing and trekking. And then we moved on to yoga, wellness, art, culture. And the primary concept is, the interest in an activity makes one travel and would create that kind of experience for you when you're on your travel. When I mean ecosystem, we have local experts in each of our places. It's their trip, and we are a platform who is helping all those locals who are based in each of these places to come and share their trips. They could be experts, they could be homestay owners. We use a network of them. We are not it's not that I go and travel with them. They're actually people who live there, who are localites, who know the place at the back of the hand, who will be your activity experts, or the local experts, or your destination experts, so to say. Having said that, I would say, why not? We get asked this question a lot, especially when my co-founder and I, we started this about 3.5 years ago, and every single person asked, why should we travel solo? A lot of reasons. So people travel to. So I'll tell you some real stories and not bookish answers.
Sure.
We've had women who've come and told us that their journey, their solo travel has made them more confident. We've had women who are probably going through some problem, various problems, sometimes personal, sometimes professional, and they've used this format to heal themselves. Um,
Mhm.
a lot of perception around solo travel, because I use the word healing and confidence, is because if I have a problem, then I need to solo travel. Absolutely not. It just puts things in perspective. It helps you do things. We are social animals at the end of the day, right? And we all have our own ecosystem. We have parents, we have spouses, we have children, we have that entire ecosystem. And more often than not, sort of start getting clouded. And I think a lot of people find it a very grounding exercise, and to connect with their own selves. And also, I feel, like I said, this is from the women who've traveled solo and their feedback. They have felt that they've connected with the place better. They've got to know the place better, they got to know the culture better. Whatever experience was there, it was their personal, and it stayed with them longer.
That's nice to know. Traveling itself is therapeutic, and traveling solo has been a kind of a taboo, but we are shedding that taboo. Many people are preferring traveling solo these days, and they like to be left alone. They like to soak in the pleasure of the holiday and reflect on their lives. And I'm sure it's the same for men and women. So I'm sure this is something that is here to stay. And while traveling, of course, for women, the major concern is going to be safety, right? Obviously, our country is not the safest place for women, and the increasing incidences of crimes against women is going to make women a little apprehensive of being able to travel alone. So, what do you think women can ensure on their travels to be safe?
Okay. Well, I would use it as a two-part question. Firstly, I think to believe that India is unsafe while everybody goes to Europe for a backpacking trip alone and that is safer, or somewhere in Latin America, I don't know, for some reason people find it safer than India. I think that's the biggest myth you have. If you do travel to any of those streets, you would imagine being in another country where language, your issues with just the know-how of the place, and you don't know. Principally, also, it cannot be safer. So please don't live under the myth that India is unsafe while these other countries are safe. Every place is equally safe or unsafe. And the myth to say that it's a very big myth that India is unsafe and anywhere apart from India is seemingly safe. It doesn't work like that. Having said that, there are places which are certainly safer than the other places, and because it's built with a certain system in place. If you have a system in place, you consider one place safer than the other because of the administration that they may have, because of the police that they may have. A lot of these factors give you that cushion of safety. When it comes to your own self, and which is where we fit in. Every single place has a local expert who's verified. When we are picking up places to stay, we ensure that they are verified. We also go down to the depth. We have a process where we see how far is the medical facility, how far is the local police station, how well connected the local expert is should you need help. And if you keep these things in mind, you are in charge for your own safety. And I would always say that, no, even though we are doing all of that, I don't think I can say that, you travel with us and we are going to be safe. It's every place has its nuances. Try and read up and understand, and as per your own self, follow your own self-defense rules in terms of knowing the operator you're traveling with, where are you staying, what is the process, what are the legal help or administrative help rather that you can get when you're there. And now safety has another connotation, right? Apart from you're talking about the health aspect as well. I think that's going to be primary. I want to know if I'm going to be disease free when I'm traveling or not. So exactly what you would do in that format today, which we were not doing earlier, but I'm sure people are going to start asking questions, and we are prepared for that. Every single person, we've gone back to our local experts, trained them, worked with them last 3 months, and kind of informed them about the new safety norms one would need post-COVID. So it's exactly like wearing a mask, in that sense. You keep your sort of things in place. Also, I don't know why, and of course, this is a system, and which is why a lot of women are discouraged to travel, because, one ends up growing up thinking that travel, if you go to an unsafe place, it's unsafe for women. Let me tell you, if we were in some street and some 5 women or men, I'm not even talking of the gender, to decide to mug me or you, we are going to be in equal trouble. I don't think, unless you're going to be, a little bit, in your ego shell about it and say, I'm a man, I can fight it out. I think you and I are going to be in an equal situation there, right?
Yeah, we're all going to be having the same troubles.
Yeah.
Garima, once the situation normalizes, the COVID situation, I'm sure many women are going to get back to traveling. And one of the common issues they face is how to convince their male family members who many times have a good say in the decision of whether women should be able to travel alone, be it a husband, be it a father, or an elderly male member in the family. Yeah. Any tips on how you could convince the male members? But because, like it or not, we're still very much a patriarchal society. What kind of tips would you give to the women who are watching and the women who would be also watching the recorded video of this? How do you convince the men?
So well, there are two sort of sides to this. So okay, let me begin by saying that I've been extremely fortunate. I think I would go back every day and thank my parents for the equal upbringing that I was given. I don't think I was ever told, I'm still not, ever told that you're a girl and you can't do this. So thankfully, I think personally for me, the men who've been influential, be it my father or my husband, have been extremely supportive on this. I must go ahead and also tell you that my co-founder, who happens to be a cousin, is a man as well. So fortunately for me, I don't think I can directly relate to somebody who's facing that kind of oppression or that kind of issue at home, because I honestly never felt. In fact, I think they've been extremely influential, in my life to where I have reached. Being Father's Day, I must tell you that the whole love for adventure sports or being outdoor and traveling perhaps was forced upon me as a kid. It's not something that was something that I was made to do, and sooner or later I just started enjoying it, and that became a kind of way of life for me. But that's what, and I'm sure there are many women like that, and you see them travel confidently and you see them do things by themselves. Unfortunately, the larger sect, as you said, are still women, and we've had people who are earning their own money, doing their own thing, and just before booking a trip would say, let me take permission from my husband or my father or my boyfriend or my brother. And unfortunately, that is the reality. I think that's a social system, and we are in a transition phase. So for all the women who are listening in, you must know that we are in a transition, right? It'll take time for people to start seeing the genders in an equal format, and you need to be confident. So half of this, I am lesser than somebody, I think it's also very self-driven. When it comes to convincing, please don't wait for someone else to convince your parents or your husbands or whoever is the decision maker. Please take control. Use it like any other decision-making technique. So let me give you an example. One of the first travelers that we had, and it was her first trip, the first time on a plane, if you believe me, the first international trip, and she took a very big leap of faith. Her parents were absolutely not convincing her, and she called me saying, can you speak to my parents? And we said, absolutely not. That's not something we can do for you. However, we can empower you. We can give you the tools that will make you confident to go and convince them back, which could be reviews, which could be, ask us questions. Where will you stay? How safe will you be? Who all are going to be there? Will there be a 24/7 touch point? All of these things, So, and honestly speaking, to give the other side some relief, it is not that they're crazy and they're paranoid and they want to kind of control you. It is also the environment that we are living in, and one tends to get concerned, So please don't go and pick up a fight with your family members. They are doing this only out of concern. If you understand that concern and you are confident and you pick who you're traveling with carefully, and they are able to provide you enough equipped tool to say that this is what is sorted and you don't need to worry, I don't think they'll worry. The last 3-4 trips that we had, solo women trips this year, before the lockdown happened, Sandeep, I must tell you, were all 4 women came from a male lead. Three of them were married, whose husband suggested that the lady go solo because he wasn't getting time, and the husband booked the solo trip for their women. So we are not, we are not trying to create an isolation here or to create a story about feminism. We are just empowering women so that we can be equal, and we are creating a story of equalism here.
Right. Another question that comes to my mind right now is, see, I have a couple of viewers who are watching. One of them happens to be my aunt, who's a senior citizen. Hi, Navnima. Thanks for watching. My sister as well. And they happen to go on certain trips, which are not typically solo trips, but with other solo women travelers, without their husbands or without their families. So, which is more popular right now as a trend? Women traveling alone to places, or women traveling with other like-minded women who form a group of solo women travelers, which is more of a trend?
Yeah, so I mean, when I mean in terms of equipping in my, in the previous answer when I was talking about it, so a group trip is also a great way to experiment. Not, and you know what? Not everybody is don't be overburdened. I see a lot of women traveling solo because there's Instagram and you need to post something there. Don't. If you have good company, if you have people that you love to travel with and you have common interest, please go ahead and travel with them. It doesn't mean that you need to, and that's the only way you will enjoy a place. A lot of people feel that there's a little disconnect in what I want and what others want, and which is where the solo travel really works. If you have your partner in crime sorted, excellent. But so what we do is that, so we also operate in terms of group trips where, and we never ever have a group size more than 10. We are very happy with 4, 6, 8. That's the comfort number that we look at, so that you feel that you're on your own, you enjoy a place better. The places that we use in terms of facilities have 6 rooms, so I anyway can't have so many people, right? 4, 6 rooms. It's a very intimate setup, and people really end up enjoying because you can experience a lot more. So this common interest, finding in others and traveling with them was a primary idea when we started this business, and we wanted to get women together who are like-minded, who have common interest, and we'll get along, and we do a bit of profiling, and we have a process in place there. So that is a very popular format, and a lot of women actually end up enjoying that more. There's so many women who come to us who say that I would prefer to just go with somebody. Over the last years, we've seen a trend of some of the women who've gone on these group trips are now wanting to go on another discovery solo. So it becomes more interest based. Maybe if I'm going on a scuba dive, I may want to go by myself, but maybe when I'm going for a trek, I may want to go with others. So I think it's again very interest based there. And we do both formats of travel, and both are equally popular. So, I don't, but yeah, solo travel as such, like women wanting to go all by themselves, is a rising trend, I wouldn't deny. But the group trips are extremely, extremely popular. And a lot of women find it very, very heartening to, they kind of, especially because it's activity based. And I've been on some of the trips with them. You would see them pushing each other, encouraging each other. We've had women who'll come and tell us that, when I travel with my husband, he'll tell me that, not to say husbands do this, I'm just telling you one story. My husband doesn't, he'll probably push me and say, of course you can do it. But anyway, so, there's so many women who say that, when I go for a hike, my husband would tell me that, oh, you can't climb that, it's too high, you'll feel sick, you'll fall down, you have weak knees, and I don't know what not. But when you go with women, they're all rooting for each other and saying, of course you can, do it. And it doesn't mean you do it at the cost of your health. Please understand, all of us who are on the other end taking you, operating this, all the operators that we've handpicked as our experts are very, very capable of handling this. So if they think you can't, please listen to them. But don't listen to your inner voices and all the noise. And group works for you, great. You want to go all by yourself, great. We also have a third format where because we work with local experts. A lot of women, and maybe your aunt and your sister should try this. We have a local expert who takes them around. So, you're not traveling with somebody, but you're going there and meeting somebody who is available whenever you need somebody to take you around or have that company.
Garima, I've come across ladies of different age groups wanting to do solo trips. What is the right age to start traveling solo for women? Is there a right
Okay.
age in the first
I'm
place?
going to I'm going to turn this question to you a little bit, since you are a financial expert and you've been in the industry for 11 years. So if I ask you, what's the right age to start saving money and invest?
Be from the very first salary, very first salary.
So would it be too late if I am 30, 40, 50 and I want to save money, invest?
Never too late. Earlier the better, but never too late.
I think it's the same answer. There is absolutely no age, but please ensure who you're going with. Do your homework. All data is available. You have reviews available. Please go ahead and speak to people who have traveled with a particular company. I'm not saying only travel with Wandering Jane. Wherever you're planning something by yourself, there are services available. Connect with the local. You're also helping the community in the long run, right? So there is absolutely no good or no right or wrong age. We've had 19-year-olds travel with us. We've had a 52-year-old getting on the surfboard for the first time and more enthusiastic than the 19-year-old on the trip. Travel has no age, and I think you should never stop traveling. And that's, I think, one thing Indians in general, not women, Indians in general should start learning, and I think it's extremely enriching. And there are so many nuances to travel, so many subtle things that happen to your brain and body, which should just continue to happen as long as you don't have any serious ailment and you just can't travel for some reason. Then don't. Otherwise, absolutely no age. I would love to. I keep joking with my friends, and it's become a little joke within my circle because I keep talking about my 90th birthday plans. I'll be traveling somewhere if I'm alive, of course.
I wish you are. Okay, now that quite a few of them are watching, and I'm sure you've already inspired and motivated some of them to start traveling solo. If and when they get into the solo travel mode, what kind of precautions do you think they should take before embarking on such a trip?
So I'll tell you a couple of things that we do. We always insist on, a certain, we have a certain format of testing, how active you are, how to ensure that if you're getting into an activity, you are anyway safe when it comes to safety. We always insist on an emergency number, and we try that before someone travels so that, in case somebody needs to can be reached in case of any issue. It's a tad bit easier for us to manage, I would say, because we are still a small sort of outfit, and we can be nimble and agile in these things. Since we are working with these local experts, they are equipped to take care of a solo traveler. They know exactly where you are. They have your schedules in place. Every person is connected. So find that, even if when you're going on your own, and ensure that somebody knows your plan, ensure that you research on the place. And today it is not very difficult to research on operators, to research who are you staying with, what is the background. We just do it as a pre-check, and that helps. So also the other part on safety, we've had local experts. For example, I'll give you an example. Just before the lockdown, which we all have forgotten, were also some CAA riots going on, and there were some issues. And there was a woman traveler who was traveling. A local expert, to the tune of the information that we can get on ground, could tell the lady, saying that, tomorrow, please don't travel tomorrow because it's unsafe and there are riots going on, which just started today. And we gave the advisory to her. She could postpone her flight, landed the next day. Everything went smooth. So, the point I'm trying to make is you have all this information available. Please remember, you are in charge of your own safety. The research and that finding is something we are all ready with, and we will all provide you that. But that control should be with you.
Do women travel solo, from your experience, only in India, or do they even travel abroad?
Um, in general, overseas, this trend has started. I mean, there have been a lot of European, Australian, US women who've been traveling, and I think somehow that's how we came up with this idea, because every time we were going on dives or treks, and we would see a lot of solo women travel from other countries to India, mind you, and even within their country, but Indian women were not traveling, right? So when it comes to us, we've had both. We've had a lot of women traveling within India. We've had some foreign travelers coming to India. We've had, and they seem to be very confident about traveling in India, by the way. They read up, they know everything. And they are more, when I don't know if you get a chance to interact with some of the single foreign ladies who travel to India, they're extremely confident. I wonder why we shudder. So it's time we gear up and learn from them, and we start traveling. So people do travel to India, and Southeast Asia has become extremely popular for a lot of women to travel. But I think it's just to do with the duration of time to reach there also, and it's a compact holiday in that sense. So I think the mix is pretty equal. I can't say that we have more solo travels in India and less international. I think it's an equal mix, and because I think the mindset is changing, Sandeep. People are starting to think why they want to travel rather than checking destinations today, right? So if you are an avid scuba diver, or you are an avid a nature driven person, you start picking your holidays in that format, and we are seeing that trend, and which is something that we actively advocate for. So all thumbs up for that.
What about the most sought after destinations in India? Are there some spots where women absolutely love to go and be themselves? One of the destinations I constantly hear about is McLeodganj, which is, I think, somewhere close to Dharamshala.
Yes.
Is that one of the most popular places, or
Yes.
would you say Goa? You say Pondicherry?
No, so I think you're absolutely right. We've had several trips to that belt in Himachal. You are right. Dharamshala and McLeodganj are pretty much sister towns. Very extremely popular destination. Also, that place in terms of the ecosystem, in terms of the social culture, is safe and is also perceived safe. So a lot of women find a lot of confidence in going there, even though traveling to that place right from Bangalore can be a tad bit of an effort. But the beauty of the place, the people, the culture, I think it just makes people go back. Uttarakhand is another very popular destination for solo travel. A lot of women, we've done umpteen number of trips to the northeast, and Shillong, tends to be the ultimate favorite there. Pondicherry, you rightly mentioned, we've done a lot of solo trips there. The kind of inquiries we get for that place, constantly has made us do different things. And when people travel to, with us to Pondicherry, they're surfing, they're horse riding, they're going with a localite on a scooty for a town visit. So, it's fun. It's very different. It's not the very stereotypical place that you would see. Goa is an all-time favorite. I think that's one sort of. We've had solo travelers who've said, "I've gone with my family, I have gone with my husband. Now I want to go solo to the same place." So it still continues to be a favorite. Rajasthan, interestingly, a lot of women, prefer as well, and one can understand, because if somebody is a very curious person in history, in craft, you would love that state as well. So, and international, I think the most popular trip we have is a solo trip to Bali, and I think there's so much buzz around that country, and it's beautiful, it's spectacular, no doubt. So Bali and Bhutan continue to be the topmost favorites internationally.
I'm sure when you mentioned Bali, someone's ears or an eyes lit up. That's my sister. She's been talking about going on a trip to Bali, solo trip to Bali, and hopefully I'll be able to connect her to you, and hopefully you could offer a good discount.
Certainly. So,
Would you do that
okay.
for my references?
So let me tell you a little bit about discount, and it's so nice that you asked this question, Sandeep, because I was on a panel yesterday and we were talking exactly this. Uh, we if you compare honestly with some bigger players, we are a very small team, a very small organization. We don't have overheads, so our margins are very thin. Let me tell you, there is no everybody is smart and everybody knows how to do business. So I'm not going to get into the details. Our margins are very, very thin. We are working for the community. We are working for encouraging activity-based women experts to come up in every place and host this. It's their charge in general. So if you actually compare with what all we bring in, into an experience, there are women who've actually come and told us, did you charge me less for this trip? I felt that I underpaid you, right? So having said that, if something gives you a value, so nobody really asks us for a discount because they end up feeling that we are probably fair priced or value based. And I've not really heard a feedback saying you are expensive. When people look at the detail, they're overwhelmed with it. So we've been very thankful. But in general, whenever you're going, and especially now after COVID, please don't ask for discounts. People put in effort. You don't look for a discount when you go. Please spend the money, do good there. I would urge everyone to download carbon footprint apps, and because of course there is a certain, footprint that we leave and an impact that we leave. Go ahead, go help the community, plant trees, spend extra money if you're going there, help the locals, if you're going to a certain place, and don't ask for discounts.
Okay, no more discounts. No, I was just kidding,
No,
but
I agree with you. Yeah.
I'm sure your prices are very competitive, and your product itself is very good. Having said that, I want to ask you if, okay, now let's assume that, right, there are quite a few people who are wanting, women who are wanting to travel solo. There are some of them who just logged in and they're saying, hey, wow, this sounds nice, let me do this. Uh, but there is the roadblock, of course, that the convincing the men to let them travel, be it the father, husband, and we've already spoken about how you go about doing that. But there are some men watching here, and what would you like to advise them? What would you tell them to let their women, be it their daughters, their wives, or maybe even their girlfriends? What advice would you give to men to encourage them to let their ladies travel solo?
Well, let me first congratulate them signing in at 8:45 and being on this to listen to somebody who's talking solo women travel speaks volumes about your thinking, about how you are empowering women in your life. So thank you. I don't think you need my advice. I would rather congratulate you. It's because there is an age-old saying that behind every successful man, blah blah. You all can fill in the dots. I think it's both ways. Behind every successful person, there is an ecosystem. There is a team. Behind every confident person, there is a team. Some are blessed to find that team within their families. I would be a living example of that. Some have friends, some have colleagues, but you always have a team, and you always have your people who root you, who push you, who kind of help you excel. Exactly the support that you would need from your wives and daughters and mothers is the support that they need, in any venture. So, you want to do something crazy. But the reality, I understand that. I think if a 30-year-old man suddenly says that I want to now run a marathon, and there'll be 40 friends saying, go for it, yay. But if a woman does that, she faces a little bit of roadblock. The reason you all are here, because you are not that roadblock. So instead of, please advise other men to do what you're doing now, sign up for this, speak about women traveling, speak about women wanting to do their own thing. We just had a strength training workshop for women in the morning. Please, as you are trying to do your bit to empower, please empower other men to have the strength to take it. But you all are doing a great job since you're here already.
All the men listening in, encourage your women to go solo. If you're apprehensive, get in touch with Garima Pande or Wandering Jane. She makes sure your women are safe and sound and have a really good time.
And nudge
Uh,
other
we-
men.
I'm
Nudge,
sorry.
nudge. I said, and the nudge other men, the ones who didn't
Nudge
join in
other
today,
men as
nudge
well. Pass on
them.
the good
Yeah.
word. Pass on the good word, right? We're coming to the kind of the end of the show, and wouldn't want to stretch this beyond 9 on a weekend. Just a couple of more questions. Uh, uh, the men now are convinced, I'm sure, the ones who are watching this and the ones who are going to watch this are going to send the women. And the women are also going to explore their inner self and, do what they've been wanting to do from a long time. But how can they be responsible travelers, Garima?
Extremely nice question. Very personal to both me and my co-founder Akshat, and also something that we've been talking about since day one. There are small things. So I think the buzzword about sustainable tourism and responsible traveler, there's so many people writing articles, and sometimes this whole topic tends to be a little opaque for people, but it's extremely simple. I would say start simple, start small. I started using my own water bottle when I was traveling. And I'll tell you why. It's not like I never used plastic. Of course I did. Of course I bought mineral water, and I bought different types of mineral water to try out also. But when you get to know that every single second, please hear this well, 1,500 plastic bottles are going into the sea, right? If every one of you can think that today there'll be 14.99, we've solved the battle, right? You go to these exotic places. We are so particular about waste management, and you and I both live in Bangalore, and we segregate and we do all of that. Please understand, when you're traveling to the mountains, you're talking about minus 20, minus 30 degrees. Even if it is something which may biodegrade, it may not biodegrade there because of the temperatures, or it will take longer. So please, whatever you are picking up, whether small things that you can do, carry your own bottle. It's high time we don't ask for toiletries when we travel. Carry your own. Absolutely no harm in doing that. And it's high time whatever we take, we bring back from there. Don't leave your waste behind. And that is going to be such a big impact, and you have no idea how badly and how nicely this will, not badly, I mean how hugely this will impact the place. You will protect the view. You will want to go back 30 years. We will not live in a time where we said, oh, this town used to be so beautiful then, now it's, we won't be talking that language if you do just these two simple things. The other thing that we really believe in and we advocate for, and which is why we have the local expert model, know about the place, right? Respect the culture, respect the people there. We encourage a lot of homestay, and I must take this moment to say that a lot of people think that homestay means, something which is not, which is too small. There are different types. There are immense number of options there. You like luxury, you'll find that. You want something which is value, you will find that. You will find a whole bunch of options there. Contribute to the local economy where you're going. Buy local, stay local. And biggest thing that you can do, even if you can't do all these things, the biggest thing you can do is be extremely mindful about your waste. Please carry your bottle. You're using something, you're taking a foreign body there, whether it's plastic, and you don't drop it. Even if it is as small as your toothbrush, come back, get it back. It doesn't matter. It's not going to charge you extra on your baggage when when you travel. But yeah, I mean, the first step is carry your bottle, please.
Now, while we are chatting, I have a very a unique problem raised by one of the viewers. Balaji from Chennai says, "I've been trying to ask my women to go solo, but she's just not letting go of me. She always wants to be. So, what do I do to get myself some alone time?" This question. And your audience have also answered that question. Recommend her to Wandering Jane. I'm sure she'll be excited. Balaji, you already have the answer. Just recommend her to Wandering Jane. Ask her to speak to Garima. and Garima will save you from the clutches of your loving wife.
I would
Uh,
not comment on this. I'm just making a note about this to ponder later.
Right. So I'm going to be taking some questions in a short while. If any of you have some questions that Garima can quickly answer, please leave them on the chat. I'm sure right at the beginning, quite a few of you asked some questions that just gone up the chat screen. So if you can type them again, it'll make it easier for me. Garima, before we go into the Q&A, one last question. Do you have any curated trips that you want to quickly mention about, uh, and and how people can get in touch with you and you know
Yeah.
explore their fantasies?
Yeah. Currently we are not, there are a lot of nuances when you're traveling, and we are taking our time to see which place you can go and you can't. The other side of the story is we are all looking at it from whether we can travel today. Please understand that if you may be an asymptomatic carrier, and if you are going, you cannot be affecting the community, the localites there. So, the story goes both ways. Having said that, we have a few places that we are opening up to travel, given. I just saw a suggestion there, Sandeep. Swati says, gift her a
Gift
trip.
her a trip.
Excellent. Thank you. You just answered that for me. Okay.
Hey Balaji, what are you doing, man? You should have been gifting her a trip in the first place.
We are
But
leaving
I'm sure
contact
he would say
details.
no, she doesn't want the gift. That'd be
Oh,
a
come
very
on.
sweet,
I'm sure that I can tell you, everybody loves gifts, and it's not about women. Everybody loves gifts, right? So let's. Anyway, coming back to what I was saying, while we are not actively marketing because we want to still restrict the number of people who are going, we also want to ensure that there's safety both ways. We are open to a certain places. We have a certain format to say where you can travel safely near your cities. We've been constantly talking to our local experts, and we've kept them abreast. They have kept us abreast. So there are a few places that we can travel. I'm not sure if I should actively name them because we are talking about which city, and we're getting into a lot of discussion, and we're moving into customized format. So if you're traveling solo or you're traveling with somebody, absolutely open to that. The group trips we are going to start in a while, but of course, good days, everything back on track. We operate in Europe. We pass parts of Eastern Europe. We are all over Southeast Asia, pan India. We are on our way to start some interesting journeys in South America, and we are all, I think, everybody in the community, if I can speak on behalf of everyone who is runs a travel outfit or is in the business of travel, is waiting for things to get better. It's no one's guess. It's the industry which will take the longest to recover. But when things are better, we will go there. And the good thing I should tell you that, there are people, if they've come to us even in the last 2 months and said that, I can go, that place has opened, I will take my car. And we've said no. So we are also, it's really about building this community, and we are very, very mindful of that.
Okay, great. So let me quickly get into the Q&A, which is the last part. Question comes in from Hirish Tota. He is a social media evangelist, one of the
Wow.
earliest bloggers of the country. Hi, Hirish. It's an honor to have you watching the show. He wants to know, are there any road trips planned around Karnataka by Wandering Jane?
Right. Hi, Hirish. Thank you so much for watching this. I'm going to look you up and see all the good work that you're doing. Yes, we have road trips around Karnataka. If you do wish to get in touch with us, I think you asked this question. Sorry, I missed this. You can reach us out on social media. On Instagram, we are Jane Loves to Wander. On Facebook, we are Wandering Jane. You can even, we'll drop in the phone number, of course, after this chat. You can reach us there, or you can write to us at info@Wandering Jane, and we'll have the relevant information. Before you travel, like I said, we are doing we are checking things, and we are extremely mindful about it. So we would love to have a chat with you. It is not like pick and go trip. But yeah, we have places that you can definitely drive to from Karnataka and be safe, reach safely, and we can do a quick check on, you shouldn't be an asymptomatic carrier and sort of disturb that ecology there.
I think when they are asking you these suggestions, probably they are referring to a period after COVID when the
Yeah.
situation is
No, some
totally
of the places you can travel even now. Yeah, yeah. Post COVID, of course, like I said, then we are pretty much everywhere. You reach us, and we have our expert team everywhere. To the tune that in the last 3 months we have taken this time to invest in technology. We are building a new platform, considering that people will need some more tech post COVID. Some more information. We are building that, and we've also taken the time to connect with our local experts world over and conduct classes. So we are doing online experiences. So if some of you have tuned in and who have had those experiences, we've done a flamenco dance class from a lady who's based in Spain. We are doing a culinary experience from Croatia in about 2 odd weeks. We've done something from Bali. We've done a guided meditation from Thailand. So these are all our local experts who you would meet on an otherwise good trip. But we've sort of, transformed some experiences online. Yesterday, we had something from a very small, beautiful place near Coorg. So yeah, we're doing all these online experiences with these local experts. So of course, post COVID, we are open everywhere, but you can travel even now. Please get in touch with us, and we'll definitely arrange that for you.
got another unique problem of Gagan Sandhu. Not very unique, actually. I'm sure many people have faced this. How do I convince my Desi mom to just let go of me somewhere where she probably can't reach me easily? Just a heads up, she calls me thrice in a day when I'm at office. Thrice in a day is not a bad number. I know people who call their daughters at least 5 or 6 times a day, and one of them is not very far from where I am sitting.
You
So,
know,
places where people cannot reach you.
yeah. So no, that's I think honestly, when especially when I'm traveling with my husband, we absolutely zone out, not look at phones. We even look at places where you don't even get the paper, no news. So I'm an absolute lover of those places, and I think that gives you perspective. It helps you go back 20, 25 years back in time, where you were really doing things, connecting with the nature, and you were not constantly, you just have that urge. It's not like you want to go to your phone, but you just have that urge. So I think your mom probably gets in touch with you because it's just become a habit to call you thrice. I'll tell you what a girl did. Like I said, I'm quite a live by others' examples and your own, rather than something which I would read and speak. So one of the ladies said that, my mother and I, we have a space issue, and we curated a mother-daughter trip. From that trip on, her mom wants to go by herself, and she's been telling her daughter that I need to go, and you find your own circle and do your own thing, and let me go and travel. And she is one of our ardent fans, and she's traveled with us to so many places. So maybe, Gagan, take a trip with her, do something where she would like to indulge in certain activities. You may want to do something else. Let her experience how how a trip is and how important it is for both of you to travel. Maybe the next time you travel, she will probably encourage you and say, please go and don't call me.
All right. Got a question from Selva sir. He's one of my well-wishers, and he's one of my clients. And he says, I'm sure these kind of trips will help our ladies handle crisis better from their own experience. They get more experience. This kind of travel not just gives them pleasure, but also helps them gain some life skills, isn't it?
Yes.
He asked you to share your experience before and after you're venturing to a solo trip. How this changed your entire approach to handling real life crisis. If you
Well,
have done, I'm sure you have
yeah.
done that many times.
Yeah. No, we have. I have also traveled with them, with the ladies. I have traveled by myself. Personally, I can tell you that I think it's for everybody. So I don't think it works differently for men and women. And there are so many psychologists who will jump in and who will probably support and will be able to articulate this better than me. When you are, personally, I feel whatever confidence I have, or whatever little that I know, if you speak about a place, I always remember things. I think it's helped me memorize things. I think it's made me more confident. Post this outfit, I think I've become extremely patient and extremely mindful about places, about people. So there are life skills that all of us will learn, especially when you work with an activity based a provider like us. When you try something new, it also makes you very humble, because it puts things in perspective. There are so many people, you may be acing something, you may be the marketing head or what have you, and then you're suddenly getting out to raft for the first time. And nature is anyway very humbling. So there are thousands of good things that happen, and it's not different for men and women. I think it is the same. I was brought up by both my parents, who slipped into their olive greens, and they both served in the army. So travel became like a way of life. Every single, 2-3 years that we were going to a new place, we were exploring that. We were exploring the nature. And I think if there is any good in me, whatever good I have, I'll owe it to that.
While we chat, you have a compliment from Rajendra Prasad. He says, Garima is an eloquent speaker. The interview is very inspiring, very well done. I have to agree with Rajendra Prasad. She's not just an eloquent speaker, she's a very friendly person to interact with.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Aren't you? I've had
Thank
very fruitful interactions with you, Garima, and I would be happy to associate with you going forward as a financial planner, helping your customers, your travelers plan their holidays from the financial aspects, how to save up or how to plan the budget for travel. That is something I am pretty comfortable doing, planning for your customers. So those watching, if you are planning an international trip, an Indian trip, and you want to plan how to save up money, and yeah, you can get in touch with me. Let me quickly check if
But
I've got any
excellent,
other.
Sandeep. I think we should connect, and we should absolutely do a workshop as early as possible for, especially for women. And that's another myth that people have, that women are not good with money. And the biggest myth women have is that they are not good with money. I think I can go on enough and say that I think they've been fantastic with money since the dawn of time. And the budgeting in the house, what to buy, when to buy, I think that's even something that our grandmothers did. So please drop that myth. But it will be very helpful, Sandeep. I'm going to get in touch with you, and I'm going to jump into this opportunity to request you to host a workshop, not only for travel, but something for personal finance. And everybody should be able to tune in. And I think that'd be very, very beneficial. And also for holidays, we've had women who've wanted to go somewhere, have saved up, and have been able to achieve that goal. So it'll be very, very, very helpful. We'll certainly connect on that.
I would be more than honored to do that, Garima. We are coming to the end of the session. It's about 10 past 9. One last question. We're talking about women traveling solo. Do you have any tips for men traveling solo, men like me who desperately travel solo?
I hope you're not like Mr. Balaji, trying to get away from somebody in your home. But no,
No,
I'm
there
just
is a
joking.
small difference with Mr. Balaji, and the difference is my wife is motivating me to travel solo, and I have been planning this for quite some time. Did try it once, went to Goa, but turned out to be completely miserable because I ended up feeling lonely during the holiday, and I cut short my holiday there and came back. And maybe I need people around me, or probably Goa, the place I've been to, may not have been very friendly. But you should probably expand Wandering Jane into maybe Wandering Joe, or you know, Wandering Balaji's.
Yes, I think that's a suggestion that both me and my co-founder have heard so many times in the last couple of years. But anyway, in terms of tips, I think what would really help is so some of the women who are very upfront about saying that I'm not sure and I would need somebody, but I want to try this for whatever reasons. There are places available. So the homestay or small family outfits or small family resorts are usually, you would see the family stay there. Chances are that you would have an equally great conversation that you and I are having. So maybe the place can make a difference. Ensure that you are traveling for your interest. When you start doing that, the company honestly becomes secondary. Though I must confess and say that company can make a lot of difference as well. But if you're going for a solo trip and you're a little jittery, I think travel for your interest. Maybe if you, if we were to curate a trip for you, and I understand that you can cycle and, you love a little bit of river trails, we would probably take you to Goa and take you cycling along the river. We would probably take you on a food journey there. I would definitely push you for a surfing class or kayaking in the mangroves. When you're doing all of that, you wouldn't have time to think about or feel, lonely at all. So travel for your interest, and I'm not saying these should be your interest. We are equipped to cater to a multitude of interests, and we can surely chat up and understand what you would like to do. And if you travel for that, company would be secondary. But I would again say that if you do have company, absolutely, go for it. Reach us. We can even customize trips for you. So don't worry about it.
It was a great session talking with you, Garima. Let me quickly try and see how many, if I could see the list of viewers who logged in. Selva sir, Rachel Asha, she's from Symbiosis as well. Hey, Rachel, Garima is Simbi, ex-Simbi. She's from Sims. And I've got Prabhu and quite a few of them who have logged in. This is the first time I'm doing this, so I'm not exactly able to see who is watching me right now. But anyway, all those who have logged in today and supported me, Selva sir, thank you for your kind words, and everybody else who watched in, thank you once again for tuning. If you would like to get in touch with Garima to plan a trip for you, for your wife, for your it's a great idea to gift your wife a holiday probably on your anniversary or on her birthday. I'm sure Garima's team will take care of the safety.
No comments on the anniversary bit, but yeah, on the gift, absolutely.
Yeah. WonderingJane.com is your website.
Yes.
How can they reach you on Facebook and Instagram?
So on Instagram, we are Jane Loves to Wander. And on Facebook, we are Wandering Jane. We spell as WANDERING JANE. You can even reach us on by email. You can write to us at info@wanderingjane.com. Happy to share our number, our office number, which is 998-656. Followed by 5263, which is also spelled as Jane. So those are all our details there.
Do you have a physical office in Bangalore where
We
people
work
can
out of
come?
we work out of a co-working space, but we've been, of course, working from home given the current scenario. We also have a co-working space in Delhi, which is where my co-founder is, and we're based in both these cities. But at the moment, we're all working from home. So, yeah.
It was great chatting with you, Garima. Thank you so much for coming on the show and gracing my very first episode of Sundays with Sandeep. Spread the good word about solo women traveling, guys, and also about this new initiative of mine. I intend to interview women achievers, entrepreneurs, thought leaders, people who are making a difference in others' lives. My very first episode was with Garima Pande, Wandering Jane, and looking forward to having more sessions every week. Thank you once again, everybody, for watching. Thank you, Garima.
Thank you
And
so much, Sandeep. It's an absolute honor. I'm extremely excited about this new venture, and like all your other ventures, I'm sure this is also going to be a big success. An absolute pleasure and honor to have been here today. I had a great time. Like always, I have a great time chatting with you.
Totally my pleasure as well, Garima. Right,
And
take care
I'm
then.
on for the workshop, by the way. Everybody watching, please stay tuned. I'm definitely going to hold Sandeep and get this workshop done quickly on finance.
Absolutely. Next Sunday. Yeah.
Done.
Right then. Good night and see ya.
Okay, thank you. Bye bye.
Cheers. Bye.